Alrighty guys, welcome to the show. Today is going to be an absolutely awesome show. I can't wait to get this guest on the line because he is absolutely the man of the moment. Coming off the back of WAL 402, this man from Alberta, Canada, who's standing at 6'5", 255 pounds in his current state, is in amazing form. Of course, I am talking about Matt the Wild Horse Mask. So without any hesitation, let's get Matt on the line. Alrighty, here we go.
Oh,
The Wild Horse, how are you, brother?
not too bad, you buddy.
Yeah, very well, man, very well. Thank you for coming on the show, mate. How is Alberta, Canada treating you?
Good, warm and dry right now.
Good stuff. Mate, I know that there are so many questions that I want to dive straight into regarding 402, but for everyone, we're gonna have to make everyone wait a little more because for everyone who hasn't heard your story yet, man, I would love to start kind of from the beginning on the Matt Mast journey and find out a bit more of your background. Then we'll jump straight into the 402 because that was an epic match and we definitely have to hear about it. Mate, so tell me a little bit about your journey in the sport. You've been in it for about 10 years. When did you discover the sport of arm wrestling?
So I've been here longer than 10 years.
There we go. I don't know. I did some Google research. It's obviously not reliable, old Google. So tell me about it.
No, not even close. I've been doing this for about 18 years.
Oh.
My first tournament was 20 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
And then, pretty much the last 16, 18 years has kind of been a little bit more of a part of my life, right? So,
yeah. Okay, that
So,
makes more sense.
Yeah, so first tournament, as a kid, like most arm wrestlers growing up, favorite movie was Over the Top. And I was always good at it in high school.
Yeah.
And I was 16 years old. There was a local tournament that they had every year during the Winter Carnival. And I told my old man I want to enter in it. And he says, well, you can't go. They're a bunch of 40, 50-year-old miners and loggers. You're going to get your arms ripped off. So I snuck out the door of the house and snuck in the back door of the bar and entered into this tournament and winning.
Oh,
And it was, there was no consistent arm wrestlers or anything. They were just pretty much all a bunch of local, loggers and miners that ended up going to this thing every year.
Yeah.
And about a couple of years later, I was playing a men's league football team. And one of the linemen, Dave Janikowski, we were hanging around after a game, and we all started arm wrestling, and I kind of played with the whole football team. And Dave's like, man, you got a God-given gift for this. We got to look into it. And he actually drove me down to Kelowna, where I entered in my first tournament, and there was Devon, Laurette was there, Earl Wilson, and Mike Gould. And I entered in, I placed fourth place against them in the pro division.
Yeah, nice.
And then 3 weeks later, I ended up going to provincials, and I placed second against Devon. And I had not been training or doing anything, and ended up moving out to Alberta, started working in the oil field, living the Canadian dream, right? And ended up, find out there was another local tournament going on, so I entered into that, and then that's when I really got into it. I had a man by the name of Aaron Langell kind of pulled me underneath his wing, and he taught me the whole center of the hand and the top roll and the low top roll, and the rest just kind of floated from there. So.
Yeah, well, there we go. Well, that's vastly different to what I was expecting. But you've been a natural in the sport right from the youngest of ages. Tell me, was you said you met Devon and Mike Gould and all that sort of early. Was meeting those guys the thing that kind of sealed it for you? Like, yeah, I want to beat this bunch of people. Was it born right there?
Not really. I didn't really have a clue who the hell they were. They all I heard was that they were former world champions and stuff, and I was thinking, I'm going to come in and be like this knight in shining armor and wipe these guys off the map, right? The get-go. It was both matches. I lost to Mike Gould. He made me look like a fool.
Yeah.
So, but there was always that urge, right? Like, hey, I did pretty good for my first time, and I said, I think I can beat those guys one day, and it kind of helped fuel it. Once I realized who they were, and afterwards you start looking at YouTube videos, and Aaron would start telling me about all the greatest arm wrestlers in the history of the sport, and who was the best in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, right? So
yeah, awesome.
but yeah, that was in 2000 was when I pulled Mike Gould and and Devon Laurette.
Yeah,
So for the
nice.
first time. So
Matt, tell me about the training philosophies or principles that have kind of taken you to where you are over the years. I know it's a really winding path to the top, but what has been the foundation for you, mate?
for me, my biggest thing is table time.
Hmm.
I'm starting to venture out more of the table time, going to the weights more, just trying to put on more mass on the rest of my body to bang with these bigger boys. But for me, it's always been table time.
Hmm.
So just knowing when you grab onto a hand where you want to be with that hand and the natural movement that should occur when you want to pull them, I believe is more key than being stronger on the table.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Timing and execution make up a lot, don't they? So, in your table time, were they generally always high effort table time, or were they light sessions as well, or how'd you mix it up?
it all depends. All depends on how I feel and how many guys show up that night, right? So,
Yeah.
but it's usually like I usually just grab onto them. I don't usually fight for a grip. I let everybody else grab the grip they want,
Yeah,
and I let them do their thing, and I just kind of hang on to them. I'll take a little bit back. I'll give some back to them, then I'll take it back again.
yeah,
But it's not for me. For me, practice is your team. Everybody's
yeah,
practicing together. It's about building each other up. It's not about winning at practice. It's not about going in there and smashing people. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we'll have a guy gets burnt down, and you go in and you have them good barn burners with the guy where you're both right on the fringe. But it's more about learning off each other. It's not about hurting or beating each other because you do that to a opponent, like someone you're training with, and a week later he ain't going to be at practice, right? So he's too busy icing his wounds still, right? So
yeah, yeah. And we saw you at 255 pounds at the WAL 402
I was
and
252,
252,
252, and
252.
I was wearing shoes when I weighed in.
Is
So.
that the big? Is that the, no? Is that the biggest version of Matt Mask there has been?
Yeah, 240. I think I was 249 for one day, or I think it was an hour, and then I went to the bathroom. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty much the biggest. I've been maintaining my weight anywhere around 235 to 240.
yep. And
So it was an easy cut for the 225-pound class.
yeah, nice.
And my natural walk around weight right around that 235 to 240. So,
Yep. Okay. And you mentioned
but
your.
so I'm just
Sorry, we got a bad line at the
trying
moment,
to
but
get up, right?
but
So
it's all good. All good. So what training methods are you using to get up? Is you mentioned that you're getting into the gym a bit, and I imagine you're eating a bit more as well to try to get up there. Is there a particular approach you're taking?
not so much. Every morning I do more body workouts now too. Like every day that I don't have a practice, if I do have a practice and I work legs that day, then that's fine. But other than that, every day I don't have a practice, I work a different muscle group.
Yep.
So I'll just come into my little workshop here, and I'll spend an hour and a half, 2 hours just hitting weights. You know what I mean? Depending on how sore I'm feeling is how heavy I go.
Yeah.
So
Did I
if
hear?
if I feel good, I'll grab heavy weights. If I'm sore, then I'll just grab light weights and I'll do more reps. So
Yeah, nice. Did
and then
I?
yeah,
Sorry.
more meals. So
Yeah. Did I hear you
you know,
say you train your legs?
yeah, I started working my legs a little bit. I keep hearing people say that if you work your legs, you're going to build up more core strength and gain more mass
Yeah.
everywhere.
I,
So, but I don't know. I'm not really a firm believer in it. All I'm getting out of it is just sore knees. So maybe I'm not doing it
I,
right,
I,
but
gue- I guess now that you're a super heavyweight, it all doesn't matter, does it? Just get as big and as strong as you can.
well, that's kind of the plan, right?
Yeah,
So
awesome.
yeah, that and I get to enjoy all meal, right?
Yeah,
So
tell me about it. Tell me about it. Hey, so of course the topic that we need to talk about that I'm most excited about, and no doubt everyone is to hear your thoughts on everything WAL 402 because that match was one of the most intense matches I've ever seen, and it was a performance that has I think surprised the world, and everyone is putting the stocks up in Matt Mask at the moment. So, mate, tell me about the preparations of that match. What was it like getting ready for it? What was it like going into it, and how did it feel on the night?
it was going going in. I felt comfortable when I first got the call about it, because obviously the last time we had pulled it, it worked in my favor. I thought I had figured something out against Marcio's hand.
Mm.
And then as it got closer and closer, I'd seen how he performed at his Lottie Tour and how big he was looking. And then I seen a couple stuff of him, and he was pretty much just making everybody like a fool. So I was, then the nerves really started. And I was like, ah, shit,
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to be the biggest Marcio, I think, best in shape Marcio I think anybody's ever seen for a while. So, and then, so I was pretty nervous about it, but I just stuck with what I knew, and I just maintained my training schedule that I was doing, because I was beating myself up as much as I could. I didn't want to overexert and get too excited, so I just like, there's not much more I can do with my training, so I just maintained what I wanted to do. And once he got up, I knew what I had to do, and obviously then once I seen him, he walked in through the door like the fucking man looked. He was a monster, right? Like, looked like a football player wearing his football pads and everything else, but he wasn't, like that was just him. So it was pretty intimidating. But one of my things that I do is I put a little bit of fear into myself. I think about, like, I visualized what was going to happen in that match like millions of times before it even led up to it, and every time that I went through it in my head, it never worked out good for him. I knew that, like, as long as I can maintain this, why should it go any different that day, right? So, and when I got there, I seen him, I got scared, and I was like, well, it better go as my plan that I have in my head. So I was getting more and more scared, thinking that it wasn't going to, or there's a possibility that it couldn't. So I just, it was enough to get my adrenaline going, right? Like, turn that fear into adrenaline, right?
Yeah,
so
I think you do that well. There's not many people I can think of that match you for adrenaline on the table, and I think that's got to be something that intimidates your opponents, because it's rare to see someone talk or just be as high energy as you are, and I don't know. That's obviously a tool for you. Do you feel that intimidates your opponents as well?
I don't know. I don't really think about trying to intimidate my opponents with it. It's more so just trying to pull out the best that I know I can be, right?
Yeah.
So it's not nothing to do. Like, I even apologized to Marcel. Like, when I first seen him, he shot the shit for a bit, and first thing I said to him was, I just want to apologize for how I'm going to be acting to you tomorrow, 2 hours before we pull, and when we get up on that table, right? I said, I got nothing but love and respect for you, but she's all getting pushed aside when we get up there, because I'm going to have no control, right?
Let's go.
So
that's awesome.
So it's like I know it's coming. It's just I don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I just let myself get in that time frame, and everything else just kind of takes over from there. So
yeah, that's awesome. Well, man, round one, off the go. Once you guys were strapped up, Marcio made the first movement. You looked like you just wanted to ensure that your hand was stable, and then you put the hit on. When Marcio hit and your hand didn't move, did you know it was over right then and there?
I knew, I was. That's all I was concentrating on. I wasn't going for the pin. I was hoping he was going to coming at me like a rage bull. Concentrate all my energy right onto his hand.
Yep.
And I was able to be successful on it. So as soon as I felt his hand go, I knew it was mine, right? So I started driving for it.
Yeah.
So
now tell me about, of course, round 3, where Marcio pulls out a surprise victory. It looked to me like you were confident that the job was done, and you thought you'd just kind of rub the salt in the wound a bit. Is that what happened?
I was a little bit of that, a little bit of I felt that if I had maintained hand control, that he wasn't going to be able to roll in behind.
Yep.
And I was kind of also trying to make a statement too.
Yeah.
So just let everybody else know that, I'm coming in full tilt, right? So,
yeah.
But I ended up opening up a little too much. He ended up getting a little too much, and once he got that shoulder behind, like Marcio was so strong inside, right? And once he ended up getting that, I was in that position, and I thought I could have done something to pull out of it, but it might have hurt to do it. So
Yeah.
I just kind of held on. And I was waiting for him to do his pin.
Yep.
So
Yeah. No. Yeah. You could see that even though Marcio won that round, you could still see that you had the utter dominance, and it was just kind of a fortunate run of circumstances for Marcio that allowed him to get those angles that made it difficult for you to get the finish. But my question has to then lead on to your next opponent, Nick Zena. A bigger puller. Obviously, he's pushing 300 pounds, and he's someone who likes to get in the hook as well. I'm going to assume he's going to be bringing a bit more horsepower than Marcio had. Have you got a different plan, or is it just going to be the ferocious Matt Mast that's going to rip straight through him?
well, see, like if you've ever met Nick Zena or talked to him, but like Marcio is one of the nicest dudes on the planet.
Yeah.
Nick is even nicer, right? So
Yeah.
so it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to actually get pissed off at that
Yep.
guy. So, but I don't know. I don't really want to say just in case he's listening.
Yeah.
But I got a different game plan for Nick, because Nick is a completely different puller than Marcio, right?
Yeah.
Like, Nick is explosive. He's got a big hand. He's got that longer arm. He's not as finesse as I can say, I guess, as Marcio.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that's going to work into my favor. So I'm looking to come out of the gates a little hotter on this
Yep.
one. Bad position, let him make a mistake, and then try to capitalize on it from there, right?
Nice. And
So, but yeah, as for horsepower, I don't know if Nick has more horsepower than Marcio right now,
Yep.
but he has
leverage.
that can give me a bad day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, with his leverage, he's got a bigger hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, with Marcio, I was able to control his hand because his hand is so much smaller than mine.
Yep.
And once I engulfed him in mine, it was over from there, right? But Zena's got that hand, right?
Yeah.
So,
Matt, how's the?
But I think I'm gonna bust that wrist wide open.
That's
So
awesome. I can't wait to see it go down, and I'm sure that everyone will want to be tuned in again. But how is the pec, man? You injured it against Marcio. Is the pec in good condition? Are you confident in the pec for Nick?
well, I just actually practiced right now. Like, as just when you called, the guys were walking out the door.
Yep.
So I wanted to test it out. Like, it wasn't a crazy hard aggressive practice. It was like, there wasn't some of my top caliber, but it was good to be able to feel, and I feel like it's not even bothering me.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
It looks ugly, but it's, like, when I stretch it out, it feels a little tight when I extend it all the way.
Yeah.
But it more so feels like I just did a crazy chest workout.
Yeah, awesome.
So I'm just going to avoid engaging it over the next couple weeks. I'm going to be going to get it's called manual lymph drainage therapy.
Yep.
It's like a massage technique that they use to help pull the toxins and everything out of an injured area. I'm going to go get some of that done, some deep muscle done, check out some acupuncture.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm just gonna try to avoid it. But I the way it feels right now, I felt worse and been ready for more in less time. So, like, when I finished that little trip in Australia, I was freaking sore. Like, I was like, unbelievable, and I was ready within 10 days to pull Mike Aiello afterwards, right? So,
yeah. We work you guys pretty hard when you come down here to Australia. So we put you through.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed every minute of it, though. It wasn't so much the arm wrestling that was hurting me; it was the surfing I went to do afterwards.
Oh, that's gold.
Yeah, that's when everything kicked in, right?
Yeah, awesome.
So,
Matt, I got to ask, man. You're on a roll at the moment. You get. I'm gonna put the future out there. You get through Nick Zena. Who else are you hunting? Do you want to conquer North America, or do you want to conquer Europe? What's the big priorities for you in the goals at the moment?
I want to conquer the world.
Awesome.
That's my end goal.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm just kind of testing my waters. I just want to see how I bang with these big boys here. Like there's some bad dude. Like Jerry is, man. Jerry impressed the freaking crap out of me there when he was pulling with Devon. That is a strong dude,
Yeah.
right? Like he looks like a marshmallow, but holy crap, he is solid. So he's a 320-pound freaking bulldog, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like there's yeah, I'd like to try Michael Todd. I'd like to see how I feel against him. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like Nick is he's no slouch, obviously. So
Yeah.
I think Nick will be my test for power wise. See how I feel
Yep.
against these strides, right? And then I'm just yeah. And if I feel good after championship this year, I want to go to his Lottie tour.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
see how I feel, whatever weight I'm at. I may come in pulling the super heavyweights, but yeah,
Yeah. Well, that'd be
I don't know, I want to travel around. I want to pull everybody and
awesome.
see exactly
Nice.
how good I can become.
Well,
So
it's really interesting because I think you're quickly establishing yourself as one of the best top rollers on the planet, and at the moment you kind of got a line of people that you're going through that aren't really fighting you up top. I mean, everyone's a hooker, but I would love to see you at the Zloty tour against Vitaly Laurette or something like that to see who wins up top, because that'd be unreal to see you against some of the other elite top rollers on the planet. And I think that I think it's gonna happen over the next year or two, because you're on an absolute roll, man. So yeah, can't wait to see it.
it's inevitable. She's gonna happen here eventually, right?
Yeah,
So
that's gold.
yeah.
Awesome, man. So
My friends,
I have to ask, what
they,
weight do you see yourself getting to at a peak?
I'd like to. I don't know. It's a long process for me. Like I was about 248 probably if I was in the nude when I weighed in
Yep.
at for WL 402. Just from the adrenaline rush, the nerves going up to the event, like leading up, not being able to eat the day of, just nibbling on a little bit of food.
Yeah.
Like by the time I got back home, I was weighing in at freaking 239, right?
Yeah.
So so right now I'm 243. So I'm hoping to be back up to 248 to 250 when I pull Xena.
Yeah.
If I can get even heavier bonus, I'd like to. My end goal for September would be 260, but like I don't know if I'll be able to do it. Like
Yeah.
it's my metabolism is so quick, right? So
How
yeah,
old
I'll
are you
fart
now,
and
Matt?
lose 3 pounds. So I'm 36.
36.
So
If your metabolism hasn't slowed by now, it's probably never gonna. But yeah,
yeah.
that's
So
cool. Well,
so I'm
man,
just trying to stretch the stomach out and eat more, right?
yeah,
So
absolutely, absolutely. Well, man, thank you so much for taking the time to jump on the podcast for me today. You are on absolute fire. I won't bet against you again because as you know, I bet on Marcio. So man, you've proved to the world right now that you are the man in form and you are coming up at a rate of knots. So man, well done. And I wish you all the best
yeah,
for
I
next dinner.
enjoy it. I like it when people bet against me. So it
Yeah.
gives me more motivation, right? So yeah, keep doing
Well, good. Well, Nick's in a
it.
3-0.
Yeah, Nick Zena 3-0. Keep it coming. So
All right, mate. Take care.
yeah. All right.
All right. Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Alrighty, guys, there we have it. Matt Mask, the wild horse from Canada himself. You can hear it there. He's hungry to go all the way to world champion. We're going to probably see him have a lot of opportunity this year in the WAL up against the big North American pullers, the top guys. Think Devon, Laurette, think Michael Todd, perhaps even Dave Chafee, all those sorts of guys as well. So it'll be an amazing year for Matt Mask, and you've heard there that he's intent on going to the Zloty tour as well. So we are going to see the big informed Matt Mask take on the world's best in the very near future. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'd love it if you hit like and share on this video. It'd mean the world to me. Cheers guys.